All right. Hey, team. Welcome to our weekly Monday Night Huddle. So excited that you guys were able to jump on for our very, very special huddle tonight. I'm just going to go over some quick announcements. You guys, we have a week and a half left for Leaders Retreat credits. So it is time to put the pedal to the metal and finish strong. So whatever goals you have, push, finish strong. Now that people are kind of back in school, all those seeds that you planted over the summer, now is kind of the time to be harvesting those. So don't be afraid to reach back out to people that you've been talking to all during the summer. Okay. And then another announcement, we are having a 2-week pink drink challenge. We're calling it Jumpstart Back to You, kind of a spinoff of Back to School, this whole like back to you thing for busy moms. So we are doing a 2-week pink drink challenge. It doesn't start until the Tuesday after Labor Day, so we've got a little bit of time to get people signed up and ordered. But what they will need is 1 bag of Slim and then whatever other products they want. So if they want Edge, if they want to do the triplex, if they want X Factor for immune system support, but they have to have 30 days worth of Slim because we are going to do 2 pink drinks a day. Who has been doing 2 pink drinks a day? Okay. Have you guys been doing it for a while or did you just start recently? If you've been doing it for a while, raise your hand. Okay, Casey, and you did not tell me about it. Like 2 pink drinks a day is rocking my face. It's so amazing. Are you noticing any differences, Amy?
Yeah, I put on a lot of weight quitting smoking, and I've already lost 6 pounds.
Oh my!
In the week.
What?
Sugar detox this week too. I'm working on that. So
that is so nice. Yeah. That's so awesome. Yes, I am noticing like craving control is on point, like 1,000%. It's getting to the point where I'm not even like really wanting to eat, and I'm having to tell myself to eat because I'm still nursing, and obviously I probably need to be feeding my child. So craving control and then energy. I got up at 5:45 this morning to get the kids ready to be out the door on time, and I'm still feeling like good. So really excited about that. So anyways, the 2-week pink drink challenge starts September 5th. So start putting it out there. I posted something on my personal wall today that you can tweak and use it as your own. Karen Enax made the graphics for us. So feel free to get the word out there, you guys. And we already have the group created. It's on the team page, so you can find it there and get added. Okay, without further ado, you guys, I'm super excited that you guys jumped on. One of my sweet friends, Stefanie Shaughnessy, she is a Sapphire in our company. I had the privilege of meeting Stefanie. It was last year, April. We were both at the Jewels of Excellence training at corporate in Scottsdale. And there were probably, 40 jewels, maybe 30 to 40 jewels there.
About that.
Yeah. So there were quite a few of us, and a lot of us had never met each other. And she actually sat on the other side of the room as me. I was like the nerdy girl who sat in the front row because I'm annoying like that. But I remember she's like super tall and super pretty. And there's just certain people in a room that you're like, okay, I need to know that person. I feel like we're supposed to know each other. And so we got to become friends there. And I'm really glad that we did. And we got to hang out in Kona and go to dinner last year together. And so anyways, I'm just really excited that you guys get to hear from her. She has an awesome background. I don't know if you're going to share any of your background, which I always think she has background in criminal justice, which is super exciting and NCIS-ish. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Stefanie, and she's going to share just some words of wisdom and some tips with you guys on your journey.
Hi, everyone. I was really honored when Amber asked me to be a part of this. I think the world of her, and she's just so genuine and so sweet. And from the moment I met her, I loved her. So when she asked me to be part of this, I'm like, absolutely. I can tell you guys, I can tell all of you that she loves you tremendously, and she's an amazing leader because she thinks the world of her team. So we met in Jules training. I am a total accidental network marketer success story in Plexus. And I'm here to tell every single one of you, if I can be a jewel in this company, you can, trust me. I'll tell you my story real quick. I just I'm going to be 40 this year. I'm going to be 40 in November. And when I was 21, I went to the police academy, and I was in law enforcement for 15 years before I started Plexus. So if anybody tries to give you this pyramid crap or this is sketchy or illegal, please send them to me. Friend request me and send them to me. I was a detective. I've been in an investigative spot for several years, and I got pregnant. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, but I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I lived in Detroit until I was 20, and I followed my parents to Florida. So I'm Michigan will always be my home, and 90% of my team is there, which is kind of funny. So it gives me an excuse to get my butt back home once a year at least. But yeah, I was trucking along in my career, and when I hit 35, my mom was like, if you're going to have a child, you might want to start thinking about this today because you're not getting any younger. So my husband's in law enforcement too. And when I had my son, I had him in October 2012. And my husband was over narcotics at that point. He's a sergeant. He was over the narcotic unit. So I decided to switch to part-time. I left my detective position, switched to part-time, so I had to go back to patrol. And that was, an adjustment. I hadn't wore a uniform or been in a patrol car for several years. So I went back to the street. I was covering a lot of shifts, working midnights and getting called in when people were sick or whatnot. But because he was over narcotics and had a crazy schedule, he'd call me at 2 a.m. and say, I have to come in. And I had nobody to call at 2 a.m. for my son. So it was like this stress that, was building up and building up. I never, ever, ever, ever saw myself leaving my career. And I honestly had no idea how I was going to feel until I became a mom, until I actually had him. Even while I was pregnant, I was coming back to work and I was looking around for daycare, and I just assumed I was just going to continue to work my job. But that job, if you all know anybody in it, even firefighters, any kind of first responders, really, it chews you up and spits you out. And it's a really demanding, really stressful job. So backing up a couple years, in 2009, I was hospitalized for GI issues here in Mayo Clinic for 4 days. And I had to follow up with a GI specialist for a year who told me, you need to find a probiotic and you need to find an outlet for your stress. So it got me into, I dabbled very on an amateur level. I did a figure and bodybuilding competition back then. So here I was, fast forward to 2012, I had my son. I had got certified as a personal trainer, and I dabbled a little bit in competing and stuff, and knew plenty about supplements and things like that. I had never been involved in network marketing. And I saw my friend Lynn Allen, who's a diamond, make a post about Plexus. And she was actually coming to my son's first birthday. And when she came, I thought I made a note to myself. I was like, I'm going to ask her about this when I see her at his party. So when she came to my son's party, I was like, what is this Plexus stuff you're posting about? And I've always been somebody who buys supplements. I have a buddy of mine owned a Max Muscle, which is like a GNC vitamin shop here right near our police station. And I kept that guy in business. I bought all my supplements from him. I sent all my friends to him. And so when Plexus came along, the notion of trying something new, I was like, I'll try it. So I asked my friend Lynn. She started with the Slim and Accelerator. She had her little girl 3 months before I had my son, and we both gained over 60 pounds when we were pregnant. So, almost 60. But I got pregnant 3 months after I did this competition. So I went from eating egg whites and chicken and spinach to pancakes and fries, and I just blew it out. And so it took me about a year to lose the majority of the weight. And I was working on like the last 10, 15 pounds when I saw her make a post about it. So I had just went back to work. My uniform was tight and I was exhausted. And so I started on the Slim and Accelerator, and I loved it. And I made a post about it. So not intending to do this business, not at all. And I got kind of overwhelmed because I had several people reach out and ask me what it was. And I was messing around, you guys. I had no idea what I was doing. I stumbled into silver because I was going to work and I was making the pink drink, and people were like, what is that? And so I had a handful of people at my job that wanted to try it. And I didn't know any better, so I just told them to join the same way I did and order what I did. And I got a paycheck in the mail. That was before Plexus did direct deposit. And my husband opened it up and he goes, what is this? And I said, oh, that's my snake oil business. And I went to snatch it out of his hand. And he always makes jokes, and he's real funny and witty. And he looked at me and he was dead serious. And he goes, if you're making this just messing around, he goes, why will you not give this 100%? Like give this 100% and see what happens. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. So I said, okay. I said, well, I got to order the other products. I had joined in January 2014, and they didn't have the triplex combo yet. So I ordered the ProBio 5, the BioCleanse, and the X Factor individually. And here I am. I had tried every probiotic under the sun when I got sick in 2009 until I joined Plexus in 2014. None of them had ever made me feel any different. So the notion of like ordering the ProBio 5 when I first joined didn't even occur to me. I just thought, oh, another probiotic. All of my GI issues were virtually gone within like 3 weeks. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I lost 2 inches on my waist. I was always bloated, always, So I called my friend Lynn and I was like, I think I want to do this business. And she's like, well, you need to share it on Facebook. Now I was very, very private on Facebook. I went by my middle name at the time, only had really family and some people from high school and middle school on there, not a lot. But I'm an introvert. I'm a green personality. And I'm very private. And that was just, I've always been like that. I was a shy kid. And then going into this career, I enjoyed being private. My husband and I are hermits. So I will tell you that this whole business thing for me with Plexus has been like a peeling of an onion, coming out of my shell and understanding the notion that this is a people business and you got to embrace it. And I have girls on my team that are like, well, I don't like people. I'm like, well, you do now. If you want to be successful in this, you love people. Go meet friends. Don't get stressed out and try to, sign people up or sell this product. Just go meet new people, because one of the biggest things I talk about is, number one, is just is branding yourself and storytelling. We talk so much about that. I was horrible in the beginning. Some of those Facebook posts and my memories pop up and I'm like, oh, I know I ran some people off. I know I scared the hell out of some of my friends because I was salesy. I was cheesy. I was just very, there was nothing that said, why do you love this stuff, Steph? Why are you doing this? So I've worked really hard over the last 2 years to really train my team to say, listen, tell a story of why you love this. But it's been more than that. The biggest, I told Amber tonight, I said, if there's anything you want me to talk about, I will. And if you all have any questions, feel free to shoot questions. I don't know it all. And I'm here to tell you, I still don't know it all. I'm learning every day in this and I will always learn. And I tell my team, if I don't know the answer to something, I'll find it out for you. But this is a learning process. And it was like that in my police career too. You never get to a point to where you know it all, So one of the biggest things that I've come to understand in this is that, and this is kind of how I was in the beginning. I knew I loved the products without a doubt. I qualified for Leaders Retreat in October 2014. It was in Orlando that year, and I live in Jacksonville. So my husband drove down there with me, and he was blown away. He was so impressed. He's like, wow, this company is top notch. So I feel like it's come full circle because this year it's back in Orlando and I'm so excited to go. But one thing that I understood was that knew I loved the products, I knew the company was impressive and I loved the company, but I didn't know anything about network marketing. I didn't know anything. I have been invited to like a few parties over the years of girlfriends selling stuff, and I'd buy some jewelry, I'd buy a bag. I was that supportive friend, but nobody ever approached me about doing a business. So I didn't have a negative opinion about it. I've just never known anybody who's been really successful in it, right? So one of the things that opened my eyes probably when I hit senior gold or so, I was really a hot mess until I hit about senior gold. And then I came to understand that I really needed to work on myself because the people above me were talking about, growth and self-improvement and personal development. I didn't understand what that meant in this business. But someone recommended Go Pro to me by Eric Worre. And I read that, and that really opened my eyes because I was very proud of the job I did in police work, my entire life leading up until Plexus. I was very proud of cases I had and things I did. And when I came into this, like most people do, I was trying this out, right? I did not jump into this and look at this and have the mindset like, this is now my career. So I read Go Pro. Now, you guys, I have to tell you, I resigned when I was silver. I went in and I resigned. I had a conversation with my chief. And when I walked in, he said, please tell me you're coming in to tell me that you're coming back full time. I said, actually, no, I'm going to stay home. And I didn't say anything about Plexus because I was just really getting into it then, didn't really know anything about it. I put it all on family reasons. I said, I want to be home with my son, which was the truth. But for me, I had no plan B in my mind. Now, I could have went back to my job, but in my mind, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to fail. I don't care how long it takes me. And that's probably the one good thing. If I have to say I have this one good thing about myself is that I don't compare. That's one thing I've never really done. Like when I competed, it took me almost a year to get on stage and I lost over 30 pounds. There were girls flying by me like in 12 weeks, walking up on stage, or 16 weeks. And it didn't bother me because I kept saying to myself, I'm doing this at my own speed. I'm doing this, at a rate that I feel good about, putting out a product, doing a job, and doing, all the effort I feel good about. So this is about me. And so that I had going for me, because I do know a lot. It's very easy to get sucked into that when you get into something like this and you join at the same time as somebody next to you and you're watching them. You guys, there were people that joined Plexus when I did, that fast started gold, that shot up to like Ruby, and they're no longer with the company today. Like they didn't last. Their people quit and then they quit. So don't compare yourself to anybody out there. If you're telling yourself, I got to have this amazing story, like some girls on my team, they're waiting for this miraculous before and after before they can jump out there and really share this. Don't do that. Amber will tell you, I've seen people in this business that have a tremendous, like just amazing before and after, and they don't really ever do anything with this business. And then I see people like Susie McCall. I always refer to her. You guys know the McCalls. Susie McCall just wanted to quit drinking Dr. Pepper. Like she does not have this tremendous before and after, and she's a diamond. So do not get this story in your head that you've got to, I got to wait for this, or as soon as this happens, I can do this, or as soon as this happens. No, you can do it today. People want to see your journey. They want to see you, what you're going through, what you love about this and things like that. That's why I say jump right in and start sharing what you love about this, But I learned in the beginning that self-development was a big thing. And when I read GoPro, that opened my eyes, because Eric Worre, if you haven't read it, he says in there, now some Eric Worre's a little like, I like him, but he's very network markety, but he laid it out, and he says there's 3 types of people that get into this: posers, amateurs, and professionals. Posers are the people that join your team and they think this is a lotto ticket. I made a post on Facebook, I'm not Emerald yet, this doesn't work, And how many people have you met? I've met so many people now in this industry, not even with Plexus, but in this industry, that are very quick to say, well, this kind of thing doesn't work. And now I have this understanding. I'm like, well, you just quit, like it didn't work because you quit, Amateurs, I think a lot of us fall into that. We wait, like we're trying to luck out with this. We're waiting for a rock star to join our team. We're waiting for this. We're preparing for this. We're watching all these videos. We're doing all this. We're not putting action behind it, and we're not jumping in and just being a rock star ourselves. Your team, I don't care if you got one person under you or whatever, they will follow suit when they see you do that, And then he talked about professionals, and he's like, you got to be a professional in this. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. And I'm like, why am I not giving myself permission to be a professional in this? That changed everything for me, changed everything. Because then I hit Ruby, and then senior, and between Ruby and senior Ruby is when we did the big back office switch. And that was stressful. But it showed me who the leaders were on my team, because we had just we all huddled up and we're like, we're going to get through this. I had people quit. I had people say that, I can't be a part of this. And some of those people came back. Like when we got the new Slim, and, it's like, if obstacles are going to throw you way off course, then you might need to reassess and say, is this really for you? Because if nothing else, I want y'all to walk away from this tonight having this mindset like you are your own CEO of your own business. And this is and I'm big on visualization, because when I was in law enforcement, Every single day I went to work, I had to visualize myself coming home, because it's a very dangerous time. We all know that. And that's a very dangerous job. And so visualization and mental mindset is everything. So I was used to doing that. So one thing that I did, and I trained my team to do this, and I hope this doesn't sound too hokey or cheesy for some of you, but I want you to picture your Plexus business. Like if you have there's this really cool place here in Jacksonville. It's called the St. John's Town Center. And it's this huge outdoor shopping mall, and it's awesome. It's my favorite place to shop. And they have these beautiful stores there and things like that. So I told my team, I said, I want y'all to picture your business, your Plexus business. I want you to picture it as a storefront there in wherever it is that you like to shop. If it's, like Main Street where you live, or your favorite place to go, or wherever, I want you to picture and visualize this amazing, amazing business, this storefront. And if you poured your heart and soul into this, and thank God it's only $35 to join Plexus, but just bear with me. Let's just say you poured all your savings into this, and your heart and soul is into this, and you just, this is your business. You would tell everybody about it. You would tell everybody about it. You'd invite everybody in your family to be a part of it. And I want you to think about who you want to work in the store for you that's going to represent you. You'd want people to be there that you knew that would be the best representation of you and your brand, and you guys are a team, and blah, blah, blah. You see where I'm going with this, right? So I know that the network marketing thing hangs a lot of us up. And I want you to take on this mindset, because every day I get up and I picture my Plexus business as a storefront. Like it's no different than any other business out there. That's how I visualize my business, because it's true. It's my business. I don't let the fact that it's multi-level marketing or anything like that hold me up. So when somebody asks me about it, I visualize that and I treat it the same way. If you all had a sale, or if you had a buy one, get one, or Black Friday or whatever, you would tell people about it. You would not be afraid to talk to people in person about it. Because I get a lot of people on my team that are like, I just can't say anything to people face to face. I choke up. I don't want to seem salesy. I don't want to seem pushy. Well, consider this. If it was your business, if it was your storefront, you wouldn't feel that way. I think we get hung up because of what type of business this is. But you guys, it's equally as legitimate. It's equally as, there's nothing, just because this is multi-level marketing, I'm here to tell you, we are in an age of social commerce where, it's like 2 clicks on your phone and you got something on your doorstep. Times are changing. And I see a difference just in when I joined in 2014 till today, in, a little over 3 years, I see the big difference. Everybody out there is selling something. So that's why it's more important to be a storyteller more than ever and work on relationships, because you don't want your friends to feel like you're simply reaching out, trying to get a sale. So I try to tell my team a lot. I'm like, I want you to visualize your storefront, and you hold it up here in such high regard, and it means so much to you. And I want you to rise above all the other noise out there of everybody else just trying to make a sale. Be proud of what you do. I'm here to tell you, when I say green personality, now I'm not a product guru, so don't message me tomorrow and ask me about some ingredients, because that's not my forte. But I will tell you a million reasons why this company is so good and so awesome, and why this comp plan is so much better than anything out there. When somebody, I've never got the pyramid thing. I got to be honest. Nobody says that to me. If somebody said that to me, I'd laugh. And I'd say, well, pyramids are illegal, and I'm not really into illegal stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like, you just got to kind of joke and roll your eyes, because people don't know. Most people say pyramid, but they mean multi-level. But when you say, well, actually pyramids are illegal, then it's like, oh okay, I get it. So I don't get that much, but your posture is everything with this, and your confidence and things like that. So I just, I have no problem telling somebody you're crazy for not doing this business. Like this company's legit. And in a lot of the posts that I make, now when I started, I was very product driven, like we all are. I post strictly pretty much about the business now. And the theme that I run in all of my posts is Plexus is different. Plexus is different. I even hashtag that a lot. Plexus is different. because I want people to associate that differently from every other network marketing company out there that they see. So that's what I do. I don't have there is no strategy. There's nothing. I'm here to tell you, you're going to get to a jewel level by being 150% committed. 150% committed. Takes sacrifice. It absolutely does. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. There are designated times and days that I work my business. You're going to get there being committed. Not giving a damn what anybody thinks. Not giving a damn about what anybody thinks other than the people in your house. If your hubby is skeptical, you have to show him the money, period. All guys they're motivated with opportunity with the money side. When I took my husband to Leaders Retreat, he sat in on a session where they talked about the comp plan, and he got it. And he's like, wow. And he doesn't have nothing to compare it to, but he's like, this sounds possible. Because a lot of people have this notion that only the people at the top of those companies make money. That's not how Plexus is. So when people say things to me, about their hesitation with network marketing or those companies or whatever, I let them talk. And when it rolls out of their mouth what their hesitations are, you guys, 100% of the time, I say to them, I go, yeah, I'm so glad Plexus is not like that. This company is very different. If Lynn would have told me you need to have parties, you got to reach out and have your friends need to have parties and all this and inventory and taking money from people, I promise you all I would not have done it. And this is where you need to know your friends too, because if she would have said to me, you can drive a Lexus and make 6 figures and, go to the top of the company, I would have said, well, that sounds like a scam. I wouldn't have believed it. But she asked me, what do you need to make to stay home to cover what you're making part-time? And I said, if I can make $1,000 a month, it's totally doable. And she goes, we could absolutely do that. So that's where you need to know like your friends and who you're talking to. Because a lot of posts that you make about, being in a Lexus and going to Hawaii, it's going to attract some people on your list, but not everybody. Because a lot of people are going to say that's out of reach. I can't do that, So that was a big thing, is knowing who you're talking to. So I think what kind of spawned Amber to reach out to me is I made this post on my team page the other day about reaching out to 65 people. I had a lot of people. Okay, so this is what happened. I read this book, Get Over Your Damn Self. And yeah, that one right there. Amber's got it up on the screen. Somebody had recommended it to me a while ago, and I ordered it, and I recommended it to my team. And I just liked the tone of this lady, how she wrote the book. No BS, straightforward. And that's me, and I liked it. She is a head honcho in Rodan and Fields, and she talks about what it takes. And she's got like a corporate, like a PR background and a law. I think she was an attorney, law background. So I just like, how she puts it out there. And she does this chapter on reaching out to people. And it got me out of my box, you guys. And what I mean by that is we get stuck in this box for so long because reaching out to people, let me just back up and say, it's a big part of this. And if you're afraid, you just need to get over it. You just need to link arms with whoever your upline is or me or whoever the hell you want. And you just need to get over it. And we will help you put out a message to people. My thing is I was not working at the pace that I needed to be. We talk about going silver every month. That's always my goal. Last month, I didn't sign anybody. July was like freaking crickets. And it wasn't because I wasn't trying. I was trying. I was working my IPAs. I was doing it. And I was trying to stay in that positive mindset, because when you get negative and you get down, it just snowballs. So every day I'm doing my affirmations and I'm visualizing my business. And I'm like, this is happening. And nothing happened. So I'm digging into this book, and she just kind of opened my eyes to some things. So when you reach out to people, you don't want to ever feel like you're hunting. You don't want to come off like you're convincing, and you absolutely don't want to come off like you're desperate. I have no problem reaching out, and some of the messages and some of the stuff that she said in the book kind of opened my eyes. So when right around the time I resigned, I went back to college and I finished my bachelor's. I had never did that. And I thought, I didn't know what I was going to do with Plexus at the time, but I went back, finished my bachelor's, and I did my bachelor's in business management. And so I was able to connect to all these people in business that are very, some of them are really successful. And this book kind of opened my eyes. So what I did was I reached out to a lot of these people and I said, hey, hope you're doing well. You've been on my mind. I've been wanting to reach out to you. I would really love to pick your brain about this business I'm in. I didn't say network marketing. I didn't say Plexus. I didn't want anybody Googling Plexus before they had a conversation with me. So I said, I really would love to pick your brain about this business I'm in. I want to take it to the next level. Now, they don't know I'm Sapphire, and they don't know what that means. But I'm like, I want to take it to the next level, and I'd love to pick your brain because you're so successful in what you do. You know me, I was a cop. I have zero business background, but I can talk to people. And so I'd love to run some stuff by you. You know what nobody told me no, you guys. Everybody was like, sure. You know what that does? That opens the door for me to have a conversation with them. And I'm like, can I call you? So when I start talking to some of my friends who probably would have never reached out to me about Plexus, but I'm like, they're a client of Morgan Stanley. They're independently owned. They're debt free. They offer profit sharing. When I start saying stuff like this, they're like, really? Wow. And so what? And if you don't mind me asking, how much do you make or what? So what are you doing? So the wheels are spinning, and that's exactly what you want. You want to plant seeds. So stop thinking in your mind like you got to reach out and get somebody to buy the triplex as a customer today. You want to go out, and that's fine if you do, but you want to start looking for dream teamers. And I don't care what level you are. I don't care if you don't have one person underneath you. Reach out to people and say, you guys, I want to pick your brain. I respect your opinion. Can I run something by you? Some of my friends I reached out to, I said, hey, I'm with this amazing gut health company, and I'd love to talk to you about, whatever, X, Y, and Z, because you're in the health and wellness industry, and it's all about uplifting them. I reached out to a girl that I have never met in person. I'd never met her in person, but we actually had the same coach when we competed, and she's in a different state. She's in her 20s, and she is like a fitness model, and she represents a supplement brand. It's not an MLM. But I reached out to her, and I was like, screw it, I'm rolling the dice here. I don't usually reach out to people I don't know, but I was feeling saucy, and I probably had a glass or two of wine. I was reading that book, and I'm like, I'm sending her a message. So I sent her a message, and I was honest. I said, hey, Alexis, I said, I've been wanting to reach out to you forever. I feel, well, hold on. I'll just read you the message I sent her because you guys won't believe how she responded. I was blown away. And I'm just telling you that I want to share this with you so you know if you don't ask, you will never know. You will never know. And I'm thinking, I haven't even met this chick. What's the worst she can do? Not answer me or say, oh, it's a pyramid and run? I mean, what is the worst that can happen? I've never met her. So I said, hey, Alexis, I have to be honest. I have no idea how we connected on here. I think we linked up around 2010, 2011 when I competed. Obviously, I don't know you personally, but I love following you through your posts. You're a huge source of inspiration, and I wish I would have had an ounce of the work ethic you have when I was in my 20s. Honestly, I was a bit nervous to reach out to you. How silly is that? It's only because I haven't met you personally, and I don't typically reach out to people that I haven't met, but I wanted to introduce myself and share my business with you. You're a huge advocate in the health and wellness industry, and I did mention Plexus in this one. I said, I've been with Plexus since 2014. Have you heard of them? They're an amazing gut health company that I fell in love with, and it's so not what you think of when you think of a typical MLM company. If you're the least bit interested, I'd love to chat with you on the phone sometime. To me, it was definitely worth reaching out to you at the very least to tell you I appreciate being your friend on here. You're so driven, and I love that you're a huge advocate for personal health and fitness, and I hope you're doing well. Now, you guys, who the heck would be offended or weirded out about a message like that? If somebody sent me that, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. And I'd at least want to humor them and want to hear it because they were so complimentary. She responded, she said, your message just made my day. Thank you so much for reaching out to me, Stefanie. I understand it can be quite comfortable to reach out to people you've never met. I really appreciate your kind words. I am very interested. So ironic that you approached me about gut health because I've been having some stomach issues lately, and I have been wanting to learn more about gut health and how to optimize it. Shut up. I threw the phone. I was screaming at my husband. I was like, I just messaged this girl, and we've been like conversating back and forth. So I did like a live with my team, and we talked about this in our team call, and I'm like, you guys, this is where it's at. Be proud of what you do. Think outside the box. Don't just try to make a sale. Reach out to people. If you have family that has not joined you, ask them, just say, hey, I'm like going to take it to the next level with my business, and I'd love to like run some stuff by you and just get your opinion. Maybe you're still nervous about talking to people or whatever. Can I talk to you about this? Certain family members. But don't get down about family. My mom is the third oldest out of 11. And I have like 40 first cousins, and I have one aunt married into the family who's my ambassador. So family will come around, but don't put all your, on all your money on family. But I just wanted to get on here just to really just share my story a little bit. I didn't mean to talk too long, but just to tell you guys that this is a process, and your mindset really truly makes you or breaks you in this thing for sure. Don't allow any negativity on your teams. Don't allow any negativity. If you're a negative person, knock that off. Go give yourself 5 minutes to, whatever it takes, and get out of it, because negativity will drown a team, destroy it. I've seen it. So you can absolutely do this. And 99% of us let everything up here stop us from doing that. Be proud to be a part of this company, you guys. Be proud. And be proud to be a part of Amber's team. Be proud to have such amazing, the products speak for themselves. You guys just go out and start talking about the business. Products are a no-brainer, Don't be afraid to talk about the business. Don't tell yourself, I got to be a certain rank, I got to be a certain weight. Stop that. Start doing it now. And I'm testament to that if I can do it, anybody can. I'm serious. And Amber loves you all. And, I know my team gets sick of hearing it from me. So I'm probably going to have Amber talk to my team soon so they can get it. It's all about a different perspective, really. And I get that a lot. Like when I hang around with other jewels, I'm not looking for a magic strategy or formula or anything I've never heard before. You guys have all heard this, but it just gives me a different perspective and brainstorming. And that's why I love our culture, because one plexus, we're all in this together, So
good, Stefanie. Thank you guys so much. Don't you guys love her? I told you guys she was a spitfire. She just tells it like it is. Like her Michigan comes out and she's like,
yeah.
I love it. Well, I was taking notes and I had like questions, and I have like 30,000 things that I wanted to point out now. So it was all amazing. And you guys, that's so true. Like that message that she sent to Alexis, like, would you be offended if you got that kind of message from somebody? We are so nervous to reach out to people, but it's because we're looking for the perfect copy paste that won't offend somebody. There isn't a copy paste that won't offend somebody. Like I get that from people. They're like, hey, do you want to jump on my blah, blah, blah? I'm like, okay, you just sent that to 30 people. No, I don't want to. Like we know what they're doing because we think we have to do that. But when you just make it personal, and what I love about the Alexa story, Stefanie, is she's a health supplement girl. It would be so easy to be like, she doesn't need, well, she does need Plexus, but it would be so easy to be like, why would she want to look at Plexus when she's seen it all, but she's having health issues? Like your story repeated,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You guys, like when I competed, I was like externally looked like I was in the best shape of my life, but I was really sick. Mm-hmm. And I know people would do that with her. It's why I tell my team a lot. I'm like, don't prejudge. Everybody needs these products. Everybody needs this business, for sure. But don't get it sucked into the copy and paste thing. I know like when I started Plexus, the culture was kind of like, we were all just trying to build on sharing testimonies and things. So we would copy and paste, but there's something really, really amazing about being authentic. When you're authentic, people see your heart and your intentions, and it bypasses the whole, I think it's the right side of the brain that feels like it's being sold to and just wants to shut down, so you just got to be real. Just got to be real with people. And one of the comments she makes in that book, which I really love, is do not have any emotional attachment to any kind of response, because I know in the beginning when people did not answer me, because, you know, I'm a messenger, you can see that they read your message or listen to it. That used to bother me. But think about this. Plexus is on our brains 24/7 because it's what we do. It's what we do. And everybody else that is like, la, 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 not in Plexus land like we are, they don't think about it. They don't think about it. So it's not that they're probably not answering you because they get so busy or, you know, whatever, but don't just automatically shut down or think negative because they don't answer you.
Mm-hmm. One thing I love about what you're talking about, I feel like a theme with you is don't get on that emotional roller coaster. You know, like there's that emotional roller coaster that we know with network marketing, and everything you're saying, it's like plant the seeds, but just know that you're going to stay true to who you are and where you're going. And if people are ready, they're ready. But if they're not, you're planting that seed. You know, like you're so visionary and future focused that you're not going to let the littlest thing get you off your course. You know, you're staying true to where you're going. I love that.
A lot of what I did in my career, I always had a big picture perspective, you know, and I think a lot of what we do is like that. And I feel the same way with Plexus. It's like big picture perspective, you know, and that's why I like to visualize the storefront business, because you guys, if you had your own storefront and your friend came to work for you and she quit, you wouldn't close down. You wouldn't put locks on the doors. You wouldn't say, oh, hell, I got to close shop because somebody quit. You wouldn't. So why would you do that with your, you know, with your Plexus business? Because somebody comes along and they quit and you're like, I don't know if I can do this, you know, or somebody makes a refund. Somebody comes in and says, this isn't for me. And you're like, oh, time to shut down. If you think about it and you compare it like a traditional business, you would never do that. It'd be absurd. How many times, and not like I've never had a ton of refunds or anything, but just like, how many times do you take stuff back to the store? You're not like, you exchange something at Target. You don't stop shopping at Target. You don't hate the Target employee. You know what I mean? It's like, you just don't go down that rabbit hole of negativity because it's no different. It's no different. So I preach that a lot to myself and to my team because most of us have this block. Most of us do. Because let's face it, network marketing is not something that is like largely embraced in our society yet. You know, it will be. I feel like it will be. But it's not something that everybody's like, oh yeah, go join a network marketing company. You know what I mean? Most people would rather work in a damn cubicle for 40 years. And you know what I mean? Most people would rather do the rat race and the grind and all that stuff that we talk about that we don't want to do because we want financial freedom. Most people don't. I grew up in a very blue collar, very, you know, everything was about finding a pension and getting a job with the union and security, job security. But I'm telling you, you have that with Plexus because these products, job security, this company, job security, you know, what we do and the things that we address and stuff like that, and our compensation plan makes it for job security. It's the same thing, you guys.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And one thing I loved that I want to highlight that you mentioned is posting about the business and the opportunity. And I know that that's where a lot of us get, you know, stuck and don't know how to do that or don't want to do that. And I will say I've kind of done that from day one. And I will say I think that that's where a lot of my people, when they come on as wholesalers and tell me they will never work this as a business, I know those are famous last words because they've seen the opportunity a little bit. They might not have the full picture yet, but they've seen me posting about it. So it's not this like obscure thing, you know, like they kind of have the idea that I am making income with this. So you guys, you have got to be posting about the opportunity because that is how you are going to attract dream teamers. That is how you are going to attract people who want more out of life. You know, we're not looking for somebody who's just never going to be satisfied. Like they're fine living paycheck to paycheck the rest of their life. Like that's not who is going to take this to the top. We're looking for the people who are ready for a change and are willing to work for it, you know, because this opportunity is huge. Love that. Well, hey, I know that it's getting late, but I would love to open it up if you have a couple more minutes, Stefanie.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I got tons of time.
Awesome. Okay. Guys, unmute yourself or you can use the chat thread if you want. I would love to pick Stefanie's brain and see what questions you guys have for her. Don't fail me now, team.
Okay, I got one.
I knew you would.
You knew I would have one, right? So, okay, so when you're talking about, like, you know, you say to people, you know, oh, you know a lot about business and I have this business opportunity. I want to pick your brain or whatever. Okay. And so they say yes. And you get on the phone with them. Then what do you ask them?
I say,
get hung up.
so I say, I don't know if you've seen my posts on Facebook, because you'd be surprised how many people don't see your post. And I tell them, my friend introduced me to this amazing gut health company and I love the products. And this compensation plan has really blown my mind. I did not intend to do this business, but I started making money and here I am today. And I'm just curious, have you ever been approached by anybody in a network marketing company? That's one of the things that I first love to ask, because some people, you all know there's a lot of people out there that are sending messages left and right and approaching people. And a lot of people do it the wrong way. And I don't even, you know, think their intentions are bad, but some people are very aggressive. Some people do like a sneak attack type thing. And so some people have a bad opinion about that. So that's one of the first things I ask is, have you ever been approached? And it just kind of, depending on what they say, I'm like, well, you know, what's your opinion of it? Or what do you think of it? Just kind of like feeling them out. Oh my God, I would never do that. And then I would probably say, well, yeah, I said the same thing. I said the same thing, but this one was $35 to join. And I really love the products. Like, the products work. So depending on how the conversation goes, if they're very against it or just no thanks or whatever, I might say, well, you know, you've got an amazing network. And she talks about this in the book too. I'm like, if you could think of anybody in your network who'd be open to this, you know me, I am not going to stress them out, chase them down, threaten them, you know, force them to sign up. But this has changed my life. And you all can say this at silver, at gold, at senior gold. You do not have to be a jewel to say this. It's changed my life. If you guys are making $50, $100, enough to pay your car payment, whatever, that's life changing for 75% of people out there. That is going, I mean, hell, 95%, that is life changing. So that's kind of like the way I go with it. I don't feel like I have to convince, you know, anyone. I just have this conversation with them that, you know, the moment I started treating this like a business and jumped in and started acting like I was my own CEO, it really took off for me and just changed things. So that's why I wanted to come to you and, you know, kind of pick your brain about it. My mother-in-law thinks network marketing is the devil. She works at a country club here in Jacksonville, and she's been there 22 years. She's the membership director. If she wanted to do this business, she'd blow it up because she's like the mayor. When we go out, everybody knows her. So there is a lady there that is a member at the club, very influential. She was a news anchor here in Jacksonville, and she was a part of some company, still is, that I know of, network marketing company. They don't post on Facebook. They don't, you know, they're a secret squirrel. And she invited my stepmom, or my mother-in-law, not my stepmom, my mother-in-law, she invited her to her house for a luncheon. And my mother-in-law was so excited to go. I'm going to so-and-so's house for a luncheon, and went there, and it was several other women, and they like dropped this timeshare like presentation in their lap about this company, and really were very aggressive. And then they called my mother-in-law for like 2 or 3 weeks after that. Because when I came in, I've been with my husband 12 years, 9-ish years when I joined Plexus. And in those 9 years, I had never had a conversation with my mother-in-law about network marketing. So I didn't know her opinion. And I simply asked her and my sister-in-law to like my posts. And that was too hard for them to hit like. So my sister-in-law says, well, you know, she went to this luncheon and this is what happened and da-da-da-da. And so I listen to it and I go, yeah, but you know that's not what I do, right? Like, you know, that's not Plexus. Like, that's not what I do. You know, maybe my posts might annoy you and you might have to just go through the trouble of scrolling by my post, but I don't sneak attack my friends. You know, I'm wide open. Like, my business is, you know, this is me. I'm a product of the product and I'm sharing what I love. You know, I made a post about, I bought one of those Instapots, you guys. I made a post about that last year. I had like 100 people commented on it. 4 of my friends bought it. So it's just stuff like that I say all the time. I'm like, that's kind of what I equate Plexus to. We're sharing what we love. We're not sneaky, slimy network marketing people, you know? So.
Love it. And that's the thing. It's like when you're reaching out to those dream teamers, typically those people probably are successful at what they do or have been successful. And so those can be intimidating people to reach out to. But when you say, I value, I respect you, I value your opinion, blah, 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 like, yeah, who's going to say no to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I will, one last thing I want to add, you guys, is there is a lot to be said for coming out from around Facebook and really going for it. Really talking to the people in your network that you know personally, meeting new people, getting into new networks and stuff. Don't hinge your whole belief system and the fact that this works on how many people respond to you from your Facebook posts, because it's just a tool. And think about, if you had that storefront, you're not just going to post about it on Facebook. You're going to talk about it. You're going to advertise about it. You're going to share it. You're going to ask your friends to share it. You're going to ask your friends to come down and visit you and see you and come buy some stuff. You know what I mean? So don't limit yourself, because I get people all the time that are like, well, I'm posting on Facebook, but nothing's happening. And I'm like, well, I had people when I hit Emerald last year that reached out to me, that watched me for 2 years and said, okay, I think I want to do this. And one of those girls, she's gold now. And she was struggling because she's posting and posting and nothing's happening. And she's like, I'm just frustrated. I said, well, think about this. You watched me for 2 years. People want to see that you're dedicated and you're consistent. It's not a fad. And I do everything, and I train my team not to talk about weight loss. Even if you've got an amazing weight loss testimony, that's one thing, but gut health, because then you're going to get the people drawn to you that are going to be more lifetime customers and ambassadors and stuff like that. It's not because people think weight loss and it's like fad gimmick. They want a quick fix overnight, magic pill and stuff like that.
Love it. Does anyone else have any more questions for Seth?
No.
I feel like we have one more question, though. I'm feeling it. Anyone? I love how you say, like, you're an introvert. Like, you are a self-proclaimed introvert. Because I'm not. I don't even understand what that means, really. But so I love hearing you say that, because I think a lot of people just assume, well, to be successful at this, you have to be this extroverted, loud, crazy person. And you don't.
No.
Clearly.
Yeah. I'm the farthest thing away from a blue. When I'm very good one-on-one. When I'm in a crowd, I'm definitely a wallflower, and I just sit back and watch. My husband says I'm an extrovert, but he's a hermit. So he's on the other side of the spectrum. So when we went to Jules training, they had us take the Myers-Briggs personality test, and I'm an ISTP, I think.
This is why I like you. OB's an ISTJ. So this is why, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, we're very similar. And so when I tell people I'm an introvert, and they're like, oh, well, you can talk to people. I'm like, well, my former career made me a communicator. I can talk, but I don't like to talk about myself. I don't like to put myself out there, my own personal stuff out there. So that's been a big source of growth for me with Plexus, because like I said, there's something, the posts that I share that are very, heart-wrenching and authentic and stuff like that, those are the ones that I like have the hardest trouble hitting enter on. And those are the ones I get the most feedback and the most comments on, So there's just something when you put yourself out there. And so I've always tried to put myself out there. Like I'm doing this for, number one, for me and also for my son, my family. You've got to find some part of yourself that you want to do this for. Because as women, it's so easy to say, well, I want to do this for my kids. I want to do this for my husband. I want to do this for that. Again, going back to that book, there's a part in there where she says, part of your why has got to be about you. And I will tell y'all that I say y'all, I throw y'all out. If I was on my Michigan team, right, they'd be like, what the heck? I've been in Florida 20 years though. So you guys, I don't say it much anymore, but my background, like I said, public servant, a lot of military, all that kind of stuff, job security. There was not an ounce of talk in my house about being an entrepreneur, following your dreams. Dreaming big was like, the notion was like buying a lotto ticket in my family. You know, like this is not, you know, it's just not the way I was brought up. Paycheck to paycheck. And just, I was not encouraged to go to college. So I went to police academy. And just different things like that. I was just taught to seek out a job with a pension. And even when I became a cop, my mom said there'll always be a need for you. Like you'll always have a job no matter where you go. And that was my mindset. So I say all this to you guys to let you know that this has been a big thing for me. You have absolutely 100% have got to give yourself to be permission to be successful in this. You have got to do it because you won't. You know, this mindset that you have about, I only need this much, or I only want to make this much, or it's almost like a poverty type mindset where I don't deserve this. You guys, it hit me like a brick wall before I hit Emerald. Hit me like a brick wall because I really like had this, I had an ugly cry, you guys. I had a nasty, ugly cry between Ruby and Senior Ruby because I replaced my full-time law enforcement income pay. And then I had to look at my husband, like we were having this conversation, and I said, but I want more. Like I want to go for it. Because when you get to the Ruby level, like you can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with hitting the jewel level, you know. And I was like, holy crap, I am going to do this. Like this is within reach. I started this saying I just wanted to make $1,000 a month, you know. So you've got to give yourself permission to cross that threshold and say, I deserve this. And I'm going for it, and stop playing small in your head, because subconsciously it will dictate everything you do. It will control the way you work your business. It will trickle down to your team, and nobody will want to make a goal. Nobody will want to kick ass. Nobody will want to go for it because everybody's afraid. I'm telling you, because that was me and my team. Got a bunch of blue collar hard workers on my team from Michigan. I was like, girls, we're all going to be jewels. We're going for this. But I had to like tell myself I deserve this. Like I'm doing it. I can do it. And that's huge. That is huge to tell yourself not only that you want it, but that you deserve it. You've got to get past that. That was huge for me. So I'm glad I remembered to say that because I wanted to throw that out. I tell everybody that.
Yes. I love that, Stephanie. And I read that in this book too. I'm not all the way through it yet, but she was saying, like you said, your why, you have to have part of it be about you. And I actually, it's always been about, okay, I want to get my husband home. I want to get my mom this. I want to get my kids this. And it was funny because my goal for the longest was, okay, I want to go for Sapphire so Obi can stay home. He doesn't want to stay home. He doesn't want to be a stay-at-home dad. Our kids are at this crazy stage right now. Like, why would he want to be home with them all day, right?
Right.
So I had, like, that was an epiphany to me. Like, it has to be about me at some point for me to show up for my business. Like, his why for me isn't enough. Our kids' why for me isn't enough, you know? So.
Right. Well, I think we're so programmed to do that as women too. It's always about everybody else. But she makes a comment in one of those chapters, and I highlighted it in my book. She said, when you're in this business, no matter what company you're with, but when you're a network marketer, this business, it requires you to step into your greatness. And I'm doing this on a side note, like I'm doing this like coaching study with a friend of mine, and I grew up Christian. I grew up in a Catholic household, but we're not like heavy duty churchgoers or anything. But it brought me back to God. We were talking about a lot, and she talks about the principles of being a good steward and really running with your God-given talents. And it made me think, and I had to kind of reflect for a minute. In a lot of years when I was in police work, I worked in, like I said, I was in an investigative position, but I used to sit on oral boards on interviews for new police officer applicants and the civilian applicants too. And every one question that we asked everyone was, can you give us some examples of, we talked about strengths and weaknesses. And you probably hear that in a lot of job interviews or things like that, but either weaknesses or things you need to improve on. Can you give me some examples? people could spit those out left and right. But when I asked them for their strengths, that was hard. That was harder for people than to come up with their weaknesses, you know? So I think a lot of times, especially women, and this is just my opinion, I think because we're just naturally nurturers and caregivers at heart, like down deep in our bones, that's just us. Everybody else is a priority. And when you get into this business, you're doing it for everybody else. But there's got to be a part of it. There's got to be this like kick-ass rock star part in you that says, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to grow into a bigger person. This is going to make me a better mom, a better wife, a better friend. And I want this for myself. Like I want this part of that compartment in your heart has to be for you. It's got to be. And it just changes things for you. You know, you take on that CEO mindset, like this is my business and I'm proud of it. And it really squashes any of the no's that you get or the times where it's cyclical and it's slower or we have a shipping issue or whatever. You're going to roll with it because you can handle it. And this is your business and you got a strong mindset. And mindset, like I love that Zig Ziglar quote. It's like bathing. You got to do it daily. It's true. It's true every day. So if you have a bad day, like if I'm having a bad day, I don't get on the phone with my team. You know, I try to give myself a few minutes and then I get, you know, and usually it doesn't have much to do with plexus. It's other things that, you know, typical life stuff that can stress you out, but I get right back into it because your mindset, you really truly get back what you put out. I can't say that enough. Like you truly, truly do. So get up every morning and tell yourself you deserve it and say those positive affirmations like crazy. Tell yourself that you're on the fastest growing team in plexus and you're attracting like people and people that want to run with this business. And when you talk to people, be proud. You guys will start to see a shift. I'm telling you, you'll see a shift. You got to embrace it.
Love it so